Okay, let's see. All right, I believe I am up. All right, so greetings, everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Ben with Willingly Rejected. Thanks for tuning in so early in the morning for our first ever Remotely Rejected. And I'd like to start off just by saying to please share the Remotely Rejected hashtag with a post. We're doing live giveaways throughout the day, 3 separate giveaways. So all you need to do to enter is go ahead and set up a post. It could be a screenshot of what you're seeing, what you like. It could be an art piece that you've made or that a friend of yours created. It could really be anything. It could even be a selfie, but just share the post and make sure to hashtag remotely rejected for your chance to enter into free merch giveaway. So what I'm going to take us through for the next maybe like 25 minutes or so is just do some reading this morning. So I've picked out a couple different poets that I personally like. All of it just ended up being American poetry. So I have this book. It's a collection of beat poets. Highly recommend. Oh, let's see. Check. Let's see. Okay. Cool. So I believe my audio is on now. Welcome. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in to listen and watch. All day we'll be streaming up until midnight tonight. This is good. This is our first ever remotely rejected, and it's a huge experiment. But we're thankful for you for joining us in this journey. So what I'm going to do this morning is just go ahead and read some poetry. I have a stack of books that I'd like to go through of some American poets that I enjoy. Beat poets. I have some E. Cummings, Amiri Baraka, and a couple others, including like 3 poems that I made. So we'll see where the time takes us. But first, I'd like to start off with some of my favorite poets of all time. It's just different beat poets. I recommend looking into this. I'm not an expert on it by any means, but I still enjoy to read through. So let's see. So I'm going to start off with one by Gregory Corso. It's called Don't Shoot the Warthog. So it goes like this. A child came to me swinging an ocean on a stick. He told me his sister was dead. I pulled down his pants and gave him a kick. I drove him down the streets, down the night of my generation. I screamed his name, his cursed name, down the streets of my generation, and children leapt in joy to the name, and running came. Mothers and fathers bent their heads to hear. I screamed the name. The child trembled, fell, and staggered up again. I screamed his name, and a fury of mothers and fathers sank their teeth into his brain. I called to the angels of my generation, on the rooftops, in the alleyways, beneath the garbage and the stones. I screamed the name, and they came and gnawed the child's bones. I screamed the name, beauty, 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 beauty. All right. So that was Gregory Corso. And this book is kind of like a collection of multiple beat poets. So I have some Ginsberg, Diane DePrima, all sorts of stuff. But this is another, let's see, yeah. So another Gregory Corso. This one's called Marriage. Should I get married? Should I be good? Astound the girl next door with my velvet suit and Faustus hood? Don't take her to movies, but to cemeteries. Tell all about werewolf bathtubs and forked clarinets, then desire her and kiss her, and all the preliminaries, and she going just so far, and I understanding why not getting angry, saying, "You must feel. It's beautiful to feel." Instead, take her in my arms, lean against an old crooked tombstone, and woo her the entire night, the constellations in the sky. When she introduces me to her parents, back straightened, hair finely combed, strangled by a tie, should I sit, knees together on their third degree sofa, and not ask, "Where's the bathroom?" How else to feel other than I am, often thinking, Flash Gordon soap. Oh, how terrible it must be for a young man seated before a family and the family thinking, "We never saw him before. He wants our Mary Lou." After tea and homemade cookies, they ask, "What do you do for a living?" Should I tell them? Would they like me then? Say, "All right, get married. We're losing a daughter, but we're gaining a son." And should I then ask, "Where's the bathroom?" Oh God, and the wedding, all her family and her friends, and only a handful of mine, all scroungy and bearded, just wait to get at the drinks and food. And the priest, he looking at me as if I masturbated, asking me, "Do you take this woman for your lawful wedded wife?" And I trembling, what to say? Say, "Pie glue." I kiss the bride, all those corny men slapping me on the back. "She's all yours, boy." And in their eyes, you could see some obscene honeymoon going on. Then all that absurd rice and clanky cans and shoes, Niagara Falls, hordes of us, husbands, wives, flowers, chocolates, all streaming into cozy hotels, all going to do the same thing tonight. The indifferent clerk, he knowing what was going to happen. The lobby zombies, they knowing what. The whistling elevator man, he knowing. The winking bellboy, knowing. Everybody knowing. I'd be almost inclined not to do anything. Stay up all night, stare the hotel clerk in the eye, screaming, "I deny honeymoon, I deny honeymoon," running rampant into those almost climatic suits, yelling, "Radio belly, cat shovel." Oh, I'd live in Niagara forever, in a dark cave beneath the falls. I'd sit there, the mad honeymooner, devising ways to break marriages, a scourge of bigamy, a saint of divorce. But I should get married, I should be good. How nice it'd be to come home to her and sit by the fireplace, and she in the kitchen, aproned, young and lovely, wanting my baby, and so happy about me she burns the roast beef and comes crying to me, and I get up from my big papa chair saying, "Christmas teeth, radiant brains, apple death." God, what a husband I'd make. Yes, I should get married. So much to do, like sneaking into Mr. Jones's house late at night and cover his golf clubs with 1920 Norwegian books, like hanging a picture of Rimbaud on the lawnmower, like pasting Tana Tuvu postage stamps all over the picket fence, like when Mrs. Kindhead comes to collect for the community chest, grab her and tell her there are unfavorable omens in the sky. And when the mayor comes to get my vote, tell him, "When are you going to stop people killing whales?" And when the milkman comes, leave me a note in the bottle, "Penguin dust, bring me penguin dust. I want penguin dust." Yet, if I should get married, and it's Connecticut and snow, and she gives birth to a child, and I am sleepless, worn up for nights, head bowed against the quiet window, the past behind me, finding myself in the most common of situations, a trembling man, knowledged with responsibility, not twig smear nor Roman coin soup. Oh, what would that be like? Surely, I'd give it for a nipple, a rubber Tacitus, for a rattle, a bag of broken Bach records, tack Della Francesca all over its crib, sew the Greek alphabet on its bib, and build for its playpen a roofless Parthenon. No, I doubt I'd be that kind of father. Not rural, not snow, no quiet window, but hot, smelly, tight New York City. 7 flights up, roaches and rats in the walls, a fat Reichian wife screeching over potatoes, "Get a job." And 5 nose-running brats in love with Batman, and the neighbors all toothless and dry-haired, like those hag masses of the 18th century, all wanting to come in and watch TV. The landlord wants his rent, grocery store, Blue Cross gas, and electric Knights of Columbus. Impossible to lie back and dream telephone snow, ghost parking. No, I should not get married. I should never get married. But Imagine if I were married to a beautiful, sophisticated woman, tall and pale, wearing an elegant black dress and long black gloves, holding a cigarette holder in one hand and a highball in the other. And we lived high up in a penthouse with a huge window from which we could see all of New York and ever farther on clearer days. No, can't imagine myself married to that pleasant prison dream. Oh, but what about love? I forget love. Not that I am incapable of love, it's just that I see love as odd as wearing shoes. I never wanted to marry a girl who was like her mother, and Ingrid Bergman was always impossible. And there's maybe a girl now, but she's already married, and I don't like men, and but that there's got to be somebody. Because what if I'm 60 years old and not married? All alone in a furnished room with pee stains on my underwear, and everybody else is married. All the universe married but me. Ah, yet, well, I know that were a woman possible as I am possible, then marriage would be possible. Like she and her lonely alien god waiting her Egyptian lover, so I wait, bereft of 2,000 years and the bath of life. All right, so that one was a little longer than I remembered, but so we're done with Gregory Corso. For those of you that are just joining us, good morning and thank you for being with us. Actually, I'd like to take this time to remind people that we are doing giveaways for Willingly Rejected, merch giveaways 3 times during the day. One of them is going to be coming up at about 8 o'clock a.m., so that's pretty soon. All you need to do, 9. It's 9 a.m., but all you need to do to enter is post anything. It could be your art. It could be a screenshot of what's going on. It could be a selfie. But post and make sure to hashtag remotely rejected. Thank you guys for joining us on Remotely Rejected, and I'm going to continue reading some beat poetry. So this is Diane DePrima, and this poem is called April Fool Birthday Poem for Grandpa. Today is your birthday, and I have tried writing these things before, but now, in the gathering madness, I want to thank you for telling me what to expect, for pulling no punches. Back there in that scrub Bronx parlor, thank you for honestly weeping in time to innumerable heartbreaking Italian operas, for pulling my hair when I pulled the leaves off the trees so I'd know how it feels. We are involved in it now. Revolution. Up to our knees and the tide is rising. I embrace strangers on the street, filled with their love and mine. The love you told us had to come or we die. Told them all in that Bronx park, me listening in spring Bronx dust, breathing stars, so glorious to me your white hair, your height, your fierce blue eyes, rare among Italians. I stood a ways off, looking up at you, my grandpa. People listening too. I stand a ways off, listening as I pour out soup. Young men with light in their faces at my table, talking love, talking revolution, which is love, spelled backwards. How you would love us all. With thunder, your anarchist wisdom at us. With thunder, Dante and Giordano Bruno, orderly men, bent to your ends. Well, I want you to know we do it for you and your ilk, for Carlo Tresca, for Sacco and Vanzetti, without knowing it or thinking about it, as we do it for Aubrey Beardsley, Oscar Wilde, all streetlights shall be purple. Do it for Trotsky and Shelley and Big Dumb Kropotkin, Eisenstein's Strike People, Jean Cocteau's Ennui. We do it for the stars over the Bronx, that they may look on earth and not be ashamed. All right, here's a short one by Jack Kerouac. A lot of you might know him for the novel On the Road. But yeah, so here's one of his poems. It's called Hymn. And when you showed me Brooklyn Bridge in the morning, ah, God, and the people slipping on ice in the street, twice, 2 different people came over, going to work, so earnest and trifle, clutching their pitiful morning daily news, slip on the ice and fall, both inside 5 minutes, and I cried. That's when you taught me tears. Ah, God in the morning, ah, thee. And me, leaning on the lamppost, wiping eyes. No, I'd cried, or would have cared anyway, but oh, I saw my father and my grandfather's mother and the long lines of chairs and tear sitters and dead. Ah, me. I knew, God, you had better plans than that. So, whatever plan you have for me, splitter of majesty, make it short, brief, make it snappy. Bring me home to the eternal mother today. At your service anyway. And until. Okay, cool. So I'll go one more. Let's see. I'm trying to find a. Actually, let's switch it up a little bit. So I'm going to go now. I'll go with one of mine. So this one is untitled. I don't have a title for it. But yeah. Old ideas leave a burnt tungsten taste. Eyes fume, fingers stiffen, everything fake save idealism. Brushing through catalogs from ashes, salesman toss. Each random address, a matrix of anonymous personalities, caste systems run round laps after laps. Each random address, like cleavers dulled by crude men. Each waking window, blondes with expensive breakfast croissants peer through barred balconies, wondering how they speak barbar so casually. All right. And I'm going to do one more and then I'll hop back into the professionals. So this one's also untitled. Eavesdropping on a stoop ledge, bricklayers 1 foot stepping back, gaze crystal-eyed, sharpened sticks for passers, coal snaps to buy time. Don't stop at that four-way, I'm barely skating by, court case hanging over rotted panels, mildew hang you out to dry. Who's hanging out ain't got the drive. Am I at the right bar? Crime Stoppers stare through cracks in the picket fence. Plastic smoke shouts, reports. Stick in mouth breathers, thick. Crooked coat hangers pry. All right. So now I'm going to go with this poet that I actually got introduced to rather recently. He actually had a beat. He started out as a beat poet under the name of Leroy Jones. That was his original name. And now, like, later on, he became known as Amiri Baraka. So I have a couple of those that I want to share. And let's see how we're doing. Yeah. Okay. So I think I might go with, yeah. Okay, so this one is called Valerie as Dictator. Sad. And it comes tomorrow. Again, gray, the streaks of work shedding the stone of the pavement, dissolving with the idea of singular endeavor. Herds, the herds of suffering intelligences bunched and out of hearing. Through the day come to us in waves. Though the day come to us in waves, sun, air, the beat of the clock. Though I stare at the radical world, wishing it would stand still. Tell me, and I gain at the telling of the lie and the waking against the heavy breathing of new light, dawn shattering the naive cluck of feeling. What is tomorrow that it cannot come today? Okay. This one is called The Liar. What I thought was love in me, I find 1,000 instances as fear. Of the tree's shadow winding around the chair, a distant music of frozen birds rattling in the cold. Wherever I go to claim my flesh, there are entrances of spirit, and even its comforts are hideous uses I strain to understand. Though I am a man who is loud on the birth of his ways, publicly redefining each change in my soul as if I had predicted them and profited biblically, even though their chanting weight erased familiarity from my face. A question, I think, an answer, whatever sits counting the minutes till you die. When they say, it is Roy who is dead, I wonder, who will they mean? Okay, and this last poem that I'm going to read by Amiri Baraka is called The People Burning. They now gonna make us shut up. Easy through windows and $8 hats, sharpening their pencils on matchbooks. List our errors and lies, stumbling over our souls in the dark for the sake of unnatural advantage. They now gonna line you up, ask you about God, nail your answers on the wall for the bowling alley owners to decide. They now gonna pretend they flowers, snake stalked large named vegetables who have, if nothing else, the title World's Vilest Living Things. The dusty hearts of Texas, whose most honest world is the long book into darkness, sensing the glittering affront of reason or faith or learning, preferring fake tiger smells rubbed on the balls and clothes the peasants of no country on earth would ever be vulgar enough to wear, the legacy of diseased mediocrity. Become an Italian or Jew. Forget the hatred of natural insolence, the teetering sense of right as balance each natural man must have. Become a Jew and join the Union. Forget about Russia or any radicalism past a hooked grin. Become an Italian quietist in some thin veneer of reasonable gain. Lodi Medicine, Valley Stream welcomes you into its leather ridiculousness. Forget about any anarchy except the understandable urge to be violent or flashy or fast or heavy fisted. Sing at Radio City, but never rage at the chosen, for they have given you the keys to their hearts, made you the Fridays and Saturdays of the regime, clothed you in promise and utility, and banned your thinkers to worship the rags of your decline. For the reconstruction, for the march into any anonymous America, stretches beyond hills of newsprint and dishonorable intention. Forget any dignity, but that is easily purchased and recognized by Episcopalians as they pay their garbage bills. The blueprints sound. And the nation is smaller, and the loudest mouths are recognized and stunned by the filth of their hopeless truths. I've got to figure this all out. Got to remember just where I came in. Freedom Sweet. Some 5 years ago, Rollins cradling the sun as it rose, and we dreamed then of becoming unlike our fathers and the other cowboys. Strong men in our time, raging and clawing at fools of any persuasion. Now they ask me to be a Jew or Italian and turn from the moment, disappearing into the shaking clock of treasonable safety like reruns of films with sacred coon stars. To retreat and replay, throw my mind out, sit down and brood about the anachronistic God they will tell you is real. Sit down and forget it. Lean on your silence, breathing the dark. Forget your whole life. Pop your fingers in a closed room, hopped up witch doctor for the cowards of a recent generation. It is choice now, like a philosophy problem. It is choice now, and the weight is specific and personal. It is not an emotional decision. There are facts, and who was it said that this is a scientific century? Okay, cool. So I have just about like 5 minutes left. Thank you everybody for joining us. I know it's super early in the morning. Actually, I'll read this last poem I'd like to get. Here we go. So another poet that I recently started reading, Lucille Clifton. I'll just read a couple of her pieces, and then I'll say what I have to say. So this piece is entitled Good Times. My daddy has paid the rent, and the insurance man is gone, and the lights is back on, and my uncle Brud has hit for $1 straight, and they is good times, good times, good times. My mama has made bread, and grandma has come, and everybody is drunk, and dancing in the kitchen, and singing in the kitchen. Oh, these is good times, good times, good times. Oh, children, think about the good times. If I stand in my window, naked in my own house, and press my breasts against my window pane like blackbirds pushing against glass because I am somebody in a new thing, and if the man come to stop me in my own house, naked in my own window, saying I have offended him, I have offended his gods, let him watch my black body push against my own glass. Let him discover self. Let him run naked through the streets, crying, praying in tongues. All right. This one is called The Lost Baby Poem. The time I dropped your own body down to meet the waters under the city and run one with the sewage to the sea. What did I know about waters rushing back? What did I know about drowning or being drowned? You would have been born in winter, in the year of the disconnected gas and no car. We would have made the thin walk over to Genesee Hill into the Canada wind to watch you slip like ice into strangers' hands. You would have fallen naked as snow into winter. If you were here, I could tell you these and some other things. If I am ever less than a mountain for your definite brothers and sisters, let the rivers pour over my head. Let the sea take me for a spiller of seas. Let black men call me a stranger always, for you never named sake. Later I'll say I spent my life loving a great man. Later my life will accuse me of various treasons, not black enough, too black, eyes closed when they should have been open, eyes open when they should have been closed, will accuse me for unborn babies and dead trees. Later, when I defend again and again with this love, my life will keep silent, listening to my body breaking. Okay, and last of all, I'd like to just finish up with a poem by E. Cummings. Let's see. I believe. Okay, it's this one. All right. So these are there are no titles for these. So this one goes, no time ago or else a life, walking in the dark, I met Christ. Jesus, my heart flopped over and lay still while he passed. As close as I'm to you, yes, closer, made of nothing except loneliness. And I guess I'll go with one more. To start, to hesitate, to stop, kneeling in doubt while all skies fall, and then to slowly trust T upon H and smile. Could anything be pleasanter? Some big, dark little day, which seems a lifetime at the least, except to add an A. Henceforth, he feels his pride involved. This I, who's also you, and nothing less than excellent. E will exactly do. Next, our great problem nearly solved, we dare adorn the whole with a distant, grandiloquent, deep D while all skies fall at last perfection, now and here. But look, not sunlight? Yes, and plunging rapturously up, we spill our masterpiece. All right. Thank you all for joining me this early morning for some poems. Just to do a quick recap, we went over, or I said some E. Cummings, Lucille Clifton. We had Amiri Baraka. There we go. And various beat poems. This, if I'm sure a lot of you know what this is, but I really can't recommend these works enough. I find them extremely inspiring for all media, honestly. Okay, so thank you for joining me. Once again, we're doing live merch giveaways all throughout the day. We have 3 scheduled. If you go back and look at our schedule, we have those 3 in different time slots. The way that you can qualify for the drop is just by posting. It could be posting your artwork. It could be posting a selfie. It could be posting a screenshot of what's going on. It could be really anything. Just make sure to include the hashtag remotely rejected. Okay, thank you all so much for joining us. And next up, we're going to have some guided meditations and breathing. So that's going to be really fun. All right, later.